Hey, it's Patricia Murphy. It's Thursday, and this is Seattle Now. The wildfires in Washington were so bad this week, they prevented the state from giving its daily update on the pandemic that's still raging. Things feel so bleak. Let's take a moment to talk about a new baby, shall we? This baby weighs about 300 pounds and goes by the name J57. Lynda Mapes is here to update us on the newest member of the southern resident orcas. But first, let's get you caught up. Firefighters are still scrambling to keep up with dozens of wildfires burning in Washington and Oregon. Houses are destroyed. Flames are forcing people to flee, trapping firefighters and civilians. 2 people were critically injured in the Cold Springs fire in Okanogan County. They're at Harborview Medical Center. It's being reported that the couple's 1-year-old child died. If you want to see Mayor Jenny Durkin recalled, check before you sign anything. Crosscuts reporting that former Republican gubernatorial candidate Tim Eyman is circulating fake petitions to recall Seattle's mayor. The real recall petitions haven't been sent out yet. Grace Harvey chairs the real recall effort. She wants Eyman to cut it out, and she wants voters who support a recall to know they aren't breaking any rules by signing her petition later. She sent Eyman a cease and desist letter. And some good news out of West Seattle? Sort of. Turns out there might be a fix for that cracked bridge after all. It would take 2 years, but if it works, Seattle transportation managers are hoping to squeeze another 15 years out of the bridge. Nobody is ruling out demolition and replacement yet either. Every new calf is exciting for the southern resident orcas, but calf J57 is particularly special. The very big baby was born over Memorial Day weekend, and its mother is Tahlequah, the orca mom who carried her dead calf over 1,000 miles 2 years ago. Seattle Times environment reporter Lynda Mapes was on the breaking news desk covering fires, but took the time to talk with us. You may hear her notifications going off during our conversation. So last time we talked, we knew that J35 was pregnant, and we expected to be checking in with you about how well she was doing because we had kind of left it that it was, not a great shot for a full-term birth. But now we have a calf.
It's really just so incredible. I think we all were taken a little bit by surprise. I mean, let's face it, about 2/3 of the pregnancies for the southern resident orcas don't work out. They don't come to term at all. And I'll also just brace you for the fact that really the mortality rate for new babies is about 40%, 40. So, our little youngster here, J57, does face some uphill odds, but nonetheless, she, we don't know yet, is here. The estimation is that the calf was born on September 4th, and it does have a name, J57. Isn't that just a tender, lovely, creative name? I think we have to have a contest, and no, I will not accept Kraken.
Good idea, Lynda. I think Kraken is taken anyway right now. I just want to take a moment truly to recognize in this super dark time what a wonderful ray of light this is, something to truly celebrate.
I couldn't agree more, and it's just such an innocent little burst of joy to see that baby whale. The orcas, when they're brand new to the world, they really do look different. It takes about 24 hours for their little fin to stand up, which I can't even stand how cute that is. And their coloration is different when they're newborns. The patches that are usually white on the adults are sort of a peachy color. They don't get that white, black, stark contrast going for a little while, and but they are big, honestly. I mean, they look tiny next to their 6-ton mother, but this is a 300-pound, 6-foot-long calf, and they come out ready to rip. They're swimming, their eyes are open, and of course they're mammals, so they're nursing, and they're nursing this really, really rich, high-fat milk, and it is actually a particularly sensitive time for Tahlequah because she's got to keep this calf fed, and that means she needs a lot of fish.
So Tahlequah is pretty busy right now raising 2 calves, or is the second one a calf? Is the older one still considered a calf?
The second one's 10 years old at this point, so, it's a youngster, and they stick together. That's the other remarkable thing about these orca families. They never disperse. That's very unusual in the animal world. They stick together for life. Both the males and the females stay with their mothers lifelong. I find this very impressive. I mean, most human families after a long holiday weekend are really ready to disperse, right? These guys
3 days, relatives and fish.
Right?
Lynda.
These guys keep it going lifelong. It's really remarkable to me.
I did want to talk a little bit about how the pod responds to a birth, because this is one of the things about orcas that I find so fascinating is how incredibly familiar they are with each other, familial.
This is a really beautiful aspect of orca society, and that really is the right way to think about these families. These really are societies of great antiquity, and they pass on culture, mother to calf, generation to generation. So one of the very first things that's happening is a whole lot of learning and a lot of caretaking. There's a lot of babysitting that goes on by some of the other aunties and moms in the pod, and there's a lot of food sharing that's happening to make sure that the calf is provisioned and that Tahlequah is provisioned. And one of the most hopeful and joyful things that I heard over the last couple days from some of the scientists who have been out there with the southern residents is they're looking really good, as a matter of fact, kind of more like the old days. J-Pod was absent for much of the summer, finally just recently came into their summer foraging grounds of the San Juan Islands. And they were all there. The families were all there. They were socializing and splashing and having fun and goofing off and fooling around. And, that's a good sign. It's not a good sign when they're super spread out. They're not really together. They're working their fins off to try to find some fish. That's a sign of being under stress, trying to find enough Chinook salmon, their favorite food to eat. But Ken Balcom with the Center for Whale Research, he reported the first superpod that's been seen in a long time in these waters. Now, a superpod, that's just a straight-up carnival. That's when J, K, and L finally get together when they've been apart in their different foraging areas, and they play, they party, you should hear the sound of a superpod underwater. It is the most joyful noise you can imagine, and they had a superpod as well on this same day. So who knows? Maybe they were celebrating the birth.
This is all such good news, and I think realistically speaking, these are challenging months, though, coming up for these orca. This is still an endangered species.
Well, this is so true. 72 whales is not a lot of whales. Now, if we want to be super optimistic, we'll go ahead and count this new one and say 73. But, it's typically not even fair game to count these babies for at least a year. But these whales, let's never count them out. This is a tough animal. This is not some crybaby species. They've been around as a species for 6 million years. They're in every single ocean of the world. They are the top predator everywhere they live. All they need is the only thing they've ever needed, which is enough Chinook salmon to be fed. The species of salmon at this time of year is overwhelmingly Chinook. But that will change. They're going to start eating more coho as the season changes. And then, lucky us, they'll start coming into central Puget Sound in wintertime to get chum.
Yeah, what does the fall and winter look like for these orca?
Right. So that is always the hungriest time for them. That can be a lean time and a dangerous time. For the whales that are in J-Pod especially, but also Ks and Ls, they'll actually come all the way into central Puget Sound to chase chum. And that's when we get to see them. And I mean, who else has got that, right? With the southern resident orca whales swinging right through downtown. This is the thing that I think really keeps a lot of people motivated to fight for this species, that it is just so incredibly special. We all have a piece of this. We need to take care of these whales by, first of all, giving them space, keeping the water quiet. Don't crowd them. Don't go near them in sport boats and mess around and make a lot of noise so they can't find their food. They really need a lot of space right now, especially with this youngster and with the pregnancies.
Now, Lynda, I think I want to end kind of where we ended the last time. We talked a little bit about the survivability of this calf and where we are in terms of our ability for hope right now. I like to think that this little calf is a sign of hope, but also a lovely ambassador for Orca right now. And a smart PR person might seize on this to draw attention to these creatures.
You know, I couldn't agree more. Let's think about it this way. We can all be godparents to this little baby, you know? I mean, the idea that it takes a village, that works for orca babies, too. My thought about Tahlequah ever since her tragic summer of 2018 is, may her next calf live. Well, here's the baby. So let's all have a stake in that this baby will survive and thrive and hopefully have lots more young ones to frolic with. And I really do love the way you put that she's an ambassador. This little calf can do big things for the survival of orcas if we can all look to this little whale and remember that they're counting on us.
Yeah, and for now, look at something lovely.
Look at something lovely and playful and beautiful and innocent and wild. I mean, it's just such a gift to the region.
Lynda Mapes, really good to talk to you.
It's so fun to talk with you. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Patricia Murphy, host of Seattle Now. Thank you for watching. If you think this work is important and want to support us, subscribe to our channel, leave us a comment, and check out KUOW.org for local news.